Hello and welcome back to episode 15 of my Space Engineers Vanilla Let's Play. So I did a little work on the building, uh, threw some walls around it and everything. I only got one floor actually welded up though, and that would be what's going to be my apartment. So I've got my med bay in here. I'm going to figure out what other kind of furnishings I want to put in here and everything, but for the time being, that's what it is. Downstairs here, I have put on some primary yield modules. The gold refineries have their yield modules, and the iron, silicon, and nickel so far. I have not put yield modules on the rest of them yet. I am slowly getting there. But this episode, I'm going to be focusing on doing things up here on this floor, the top floor. This is going to be where my assemblers are. And also O2H2 generators. Note, there is still only the one wind turbine on here, windmill, so I don't actually have power figured out yet. That's probably going to go in the other building on the other side. Well, let's see, I've got a bunch of interior plates so that I can lay down the beginnings up here of where my stuff is going to go. So I'm going to put a small cargo container back here, and yeah, that uses interior plates to set down. I was pretty sure it did. And then since I'm going to be doing the industrial assemblers, I'm going to need room at the bottom, top, and the rear to be able to do my modules on it, my speed modules. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and pull this out this way. Then I can put in a T section, and that will let one of these sit right here. I don't have the steel plates to put it down, but just kind of showing where it is. And then I'm going to have dead space to the back of one so that I can get further ones in here. So let's see. I actually need to grab some steel because I'm pretty sure that'll work, but I'm not positive. So let's just go ahead and throw some of these interior plates into here, get myself a little extra room so I can carry some steel. Main reason I'm doing a small cargo container up here is so I have easier access and don't have to go up and down here. I did put a ladder in, but I've just been flying for the time being. And it's finally cut down all of the iron ore that I have. I did 2 full loads in there before starting up today to make sure I have plenty of iron. And that's not counting the 2 full loads that I did in between to be able to get what I've got so far put together. So let's go ahead and throw that up there, that there. Okay, so yeah, that is going to be enough space to get these in. So let's go back here. Alright, so I've got 3 already. 4, 5, and 6. That should actually be enough. But I think I have room for a couple more here, so let's just go ahead and do that for the fun of it. 7, 8. And then let's do a curved going upward so I can go up, over, and around and come over this way for O2H2 generators. Since I'm going to have modules in the way here. So conveyor pipe, and then another curved. Curve it down. Kind of want everything on the same level here. These don't get modules at all. So let's just go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That'll be just for the O2H2 generators. And that leaves me room for putting in some tanks. I'm not sure if a large tank will fit on this floor. Let's see. Oh, a large tank will fit on this floor and happens to line up rather perfectly with what's already here. I do like that, so let's just put that there, that there. So there we go, 2 large hydrogen tanks, and that's going to leave me plenty of room to get around. So time to get all this welded up. Let's just go ahead and get all the steel out of here that I have. That's that. Interior plates. I heard you, you unknown signal. It looks like it's coming down fairly close. I might go get that. Let me go ahead and jump offline to... Well, actually, no. I don't need to jump offline. I just need to get this welded, and then I'll be able to get the rest of this much quicker and easier. Whoa. If I don't completely miss my floor. Now, in here, I do have the same basic airlock that I have set up on the ship in here, minus the refill on the tank. I'll have to keep an eye on that tank myself. My air vent is tucked in around back here. I have a single battery. Down on the lower floor in the refinery chamber, I also have a vent back here. But of course that doesn't work with none of these welded up, which is another reason I needed all of that iron. It's going to take a lot to weld up this building. Went too high up. I don't know why I'm going in there. I just need to go over here. There we go. There's all of those components to be able to get started on this. Go ahead and climb up the ladder this time, show that it actually does work. There we go. Top. There we go. And now I will be able to get all the parts I need rather quickly. I don't know why I wasn't doing this on other floors. This room ought to look pretty cool when it's all done up. I'll still have to figure out lighting and everything. There's no point when it's just all this scaffolding, though. It's not very visible. There we go. So there's these chunks. With any luck, this will actually work out properly this time. Was that it? Yeah. I was not actually keeping count that time. Do not be surprised as such. Okay. I need to go hit my med bay here, get some energy and hydrogen. There we go. Oh man, my throat is not being nice to me today. A little water to try and help that out. And these didn't have interior plates in them, so I can't actually carry the parts for all 8 of them this time. But that is fine. Let's just try to mainly get the assembler portions online. Alright. So, 1, 2... How perfect. 1 full build planner's worth of assemblers. This ought to be so fast once I get these all put together and speed modules on them. Which I would say is probably more important than the rest of what's going on over here. And I also want to do some conveyors underneath the landing pad there to have these buildings always connected, because in its current configuration they are only connected when the Stargazer is parked here, which is all well and good while I'm flying around in the Stargazer, but I might not always be doing so. Because a very large part of me is thinking about keeping this vanilla game going even after I've restarted my Keeping It Real series. Which does mean before the update I need to be able to have a way to get to the Earth-like planet so I can get food. Because I am pretty sure Europa is not going to spawn any kind of food at all. There's no creatures here. I don't see a cold CO2 planet being able to grow plants. Not because of the CO2, I mean plants breathe CO2, but because there's just not enough light here and it's far too cold. Very few plants handle cold very well. I am really hoping that update comes soon, though. But yeah, I've done a lot of work in this world, and I kind of don't want to let go of it now. The Stargazer isn't too bad of a ship. I could easily get that to go into space and then come back down. I might do that for some mining, because I've already just about tapped out my current iron node. And that's all mining by hand. I've about tapped it out. I don't like mining, using mining ships on planets. I crash far too often doing that. Which is why I just made a cargo ship. Okay, there we go. I now have mucho assemblers. So let's just go into here. This is going to be the main assembler. It should be. Industrial assembler. But anyway, let's grab these all onto cooperative mode. There we go. Much better. And then I could build this up over here and get started on those, but I think I want to first get started on my modules. I am out of steel plates. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if these are the ones kicking this off. Well, I hear them kicking it off somewhere. So some of these are working on it, some of them aren't. That's fine. Let's just grab some steel here. And don't need those down here anymore, so let's just go for module. Fortunately, I don't think I'm actually going to come up here and look at this very often. So I definitely don't need to be able to get into these and look into them. That said, I can still get up to the first one. Okay, let's just do this the easy way. Only one direction at a time. Just run all the way down the list. And switch this around. Do the back ones. Yep, let's just do that. There we go. That'll be a lot easier to line up now, instead of being silly. Oh yeah, that's going to be ridiculously fast. Can I still get to these? Yes, okay. So I'll be fine then. Alright, so let's get the main one first. And the one behind it, I guess, since I have enough. Oh, drop all that off. I guess there was no point in dropping it all off, because it just gave me the steel right back. Okay, that should be all of the steel now. Nope, I ran out of steel. Okay, so let's just get all of that making while I jump back down here. And I'll bring this back after I've got some of this welding done and have these assemblers online. Alright, so I am down to the last two that need modules. As you can hear, they're all kicking it off. I turned off the assemblers that are on the Stargazer. Same thing I had done with the refineries on there. No point in using those when I have the base set up here. So most likely when I take off in the Stargazer again, I'm going to make sure that I have switches to turn those off and on easily. Yeah, I don't know why I was running all the way back over to the small cargo container before. It can just grab things from right here. Silly is very common for me. So I might tuck in like 2 batteries between each of these. So it'll be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That wouldn't be a bad place to hide my batteries. But let's see, if I go back over here, I can get these last few things. 3. At some point, I'm definitely going to have to weld this up. I am definitely going to do that off camera because welding all of these blocks on this building is going to take forever, and I do not want to bore you to death. But do know, this is going to be a lot of work. Sneak around through here. I am very glad that these allow me to get in here. Because that would have been a pain to have to tear those back down. And I do want to do one thing here. This is the end of the line, so do a curve there. Get this all set up. I may be running low on power. I will have to go and check that. Fortunately, I do have reactors and plenty of uranium on board the Stargazer, which will be very helpful here. But let's see here. I have the one battery on board here that's going to be depleted in 13 hours. That's not bad. Stargazer battery, 19 days. Yeah, alright. I should be fine. Always good to keep an eye on things, though. Alright. 6 O2H2 generators. That might actually be able to fill up those tanks pretty well. We can certainly hope. Because these large hydrogen tanks, definitely not small. I'm going to put oxygen tanks probably over on... Well, I could just kind of like sneak them back here, couldn't I? That would be an interesting way to do things. Well, let's go ahead and get at least one of these welded up before I run downstairs. And get myself topped back up. This is much faster than going and sitting inside one of the ships. There we go. I would absolutely prefer do things off of conveyors. It's, from what I understand, easier on your system and on the game itself. But yeah, I think I might just go ahead and put 6 small oxygen tanks back here. Oh wait, I could use the new oxygen tanks and just put in 3 of them here. That would look interesting. Yeah, let's grab a little bit of steel to get those put in. Of course, out of the steel. Make sure I'm on the right one. Don't need that much at the moment, so let's just go ahead and grab these. All right. There we go. And now it should be giving me all the parts I need. I do like the idea of having plenty of storage for all these gases and for everything else, since this is going to be my main base in this solar system, this particular run. It's not going to be my only base. I actually want to go back to Pertam and work on doing a decent little base there as well. But for the time being, this is absolutely my primary base. And I've already put a lot of work into it, so why wouldn't I make this my primary base? And it is starting to look pretty nice, I think. So many parts for these big tanks. Let's go ahead and get this finished, and I can pull from there. There we go. So I should have plenty of ice to be pulled around into these. Or not. Oh wow. I am out of ice. How am I out of ice while I live on Europa? That's a silly thing, isn't it? But let's see. Yeah, I like this. I just need to get all this welded up and put some lights in here. I will do that in between episodes here. I didn't expect this to be so quick today. Now I got to figure out what else I want to do, or if I'm just calling it a short episode. Let's come out here, look around. Yes, very nice. Well, maybe I can work on some of the furnishings in here. Let's see. Where do I even find furniture in here? I am not typically one for doing furnishings, but there we go. Don't need chairless. Oh no, how does this sit? Actually, that's not too bad. So, let's see. Nice kitchen in here would be good. Some couches, planters. I might get more desks put together, but let's go get all these parts. And see where I can put some things down in here. Oh, already full. Okay, so kind of want this. Yeah, let's go over here with it. It looks better up against the wall, methinks. And planters, I want these over where they can actually look like they're getting a little bit of sunlight added to them. Let's throw the two of these in. Oh, short on that. The kitchen, let's throw that over here. Missing some parts there. Set up a nice big couch over here. Alright. So let's get rid of all of that and get exactly the parts I need. Okay. So it's still leaving the middle wide open. I'll figure out something to put in there at some point, but at least now it's going to have some furnishings. And I think this episode's probably like a little less than 30 minutes long at this point. I don't know. I've been playing for an hour. I haven't been recording the whole time. That's all I know for a fact. Yeah, there we go. What else is on this planter's? Oh, the aquarium. Yeah, unfortunately, this is an outer wall, and I don't really want that. I do need... Let's see, where are the desks actually at? There we go. So I want one of these. Actually, that might be all I need. So yeah, let's go grab the parts for that and finish that off. I'm of course going to also need a control seat. Get all the parts for that. Okay, it says all the parts are done now. There we go. So number 6, let's go put this over here. That gives me an actual place to sit at this desk, staring at the wall. That's fine. And yeah, let's have this facing technically forward because it's forward for the Stargazer. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. I like it. And for the time being, I can't think of anything else that I need to be doing today on camera, so if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit the like button down below. And if you're wanting to see what else I'm getting up to, there's always that subscribe button. Till next time, have a good one.